Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so we're back here with this PC from the other night. So previous video. So this has 10M HD, which is basically pretty much the most basic motherboard that you. Nothing inherently wrong with being the cheapest motherboard. It has its place. However, its place is not in this PC here. i5-10400F, that's not the problem. But with an RTX. So, what's going on? So, we have a board that has very. So, as soon as we start plugging in high-end parts into this board, we're asking for problems. So, we're going to be putting it all onto this one here. MSI Mag Series B560 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. So this is a triple M2 Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. In fact, I'll open it up and we can actually have a look at this board. Actually, what might be fun, panel off here and we can remove the graphics card, and then you can sort of have a look at like what is on this board or what is not on the one that we're putting it in, and you'll probably be able to pretty much work out exactly why it looks the way that it does. So yeah, this is a little bit of a weird one, this situation here. It's not usually you have a case of a graphics card being incompatible with a motherboard. Like on the surface, they're not incompatible. Like, I mean, it's just that when they designed this motherboard, they were not intending this 2080 Ti to be plugged into it. No. Board graphics, and probably weren't even expecting 2 sticks of memory in there, to be completely honest. Adam, how you going? Look at YouTube. Anyone on YouTube yet commented? No, it's a bad time of day for it. Alright, anyway, we'll keep moving. So as you can see, MOSFET VRM co-processors here, little tiny heatsink there on the chipset, and that's pretty much about it. That's all we've got. So on our new motherboard, we have a resolution on this board. Nice big heatsink along there, heatsink along the top there. Board to plug a 2080 Ti into, because remember 2080 Ti is the old. It's definitely high end, even if it's not as powerful. It still uses a lot of power to get there, being a flagship. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, because most of this in place. Yep. Looks like I won't have to change too much cable management. Just unplug what's on this board and plug it in to the new one. Alright. Alright. Let's put that down on that box there. Alright, so we've got some stuff to do. Got and plug it into our new one. So one of the things we investigated was the mounting pressure on the previous to not be a problem. So we can go ahead back on the new motherboard. Plate on. That should just Did myself a mischief. Actually open the CPU lid before we do anything. Give this a bit of a clean off. There we go. So these little clips on the end, this last one in, if you were wondering. What the fuck is he fucking around with? There we go. Okay. And that is definitely mounted. Alright, so we've got our original cooler here. Paste here. Probably didn't completely set, but we won't take any. Also, because I don't have another CPU that I'm putting in this board, I'm going to be reinstalling the protective our socket safe. I'm going to use this slot and this slot. The other thing, in motherboard, we couldn't use the XMP profile on. Now on the B560 chipset, no problem. Okay, as for this M2, so I'm going to chuck this one under this heatsink. Do that is because that's the slot that's going to be hard to access. So let's put the boot drive, that one usually, let's put that one in the hardest spot. SSDs if we ever want to upgrade. And we've also got a heatsink, sorry, a heat pad. M2 drive now. That's a little bit better. Sweet as. Okay, as for this old motherboard, I will chuck it in here. someone's grandma's PC, I'd say. Alright. On the CPU. So I need a little bit of thermal. We've only got a 10400 here. It's not like it's an epic as CPU. What's the score on that? That should be enough. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I've got our board all prepped. We've got a full-size ATX board, and we used to have a cut-down mini . So I've got 2 offsets to change the location of. 3 offsets to install. There we go. Okay. Oh, we've got an old with the other motherboard. Okay, we've got an need some extra length. Okay, how's that looking? That's pretty. Pieces look completely magnetized. Actually, we'll feed some of these cables through. We'll have to redo some. Sure, power can. That EVGA 650 watt. That's pretty weird. On your PCIe power cables from the power supply, plugs on the same cable. They've only got the two, and an auxiliary for the PCIe system. So if we don't have that plugged in down there, our motherboard won't work. So to fixing Oh yeah, this should sort us out. I have some extra. They look like the same fucking ones. Oh yeah. Check some of the other details. Alright, let's just... Gotcha. Okay. So it's always very, very dodgy stuff using different modular power cables on different power supplies. This is not something I recommend that you do from a random box of cables. Even if they fit, it's not always right. You need doing. If not, you're gonna have a very bad time. You see, like I'm struggling just to plug in the one on the end. Oh man, this is freaking painful. What the fuck am I... Sorry, I'm gonna have to pull this out. Sorry, it slows everything down, it's real boring. That's what it was. It has specific VGA and CPU there on this power supply. Usually the PCIe and the CPU have the supply so that the cables plug into the same slots individually, but on this power supply it is two different pin configurations for the VGA. So Jesus. Cost me a lot of money. So this board does have 6-pin. There's no reality where a 10400F uses the power required for 2. Two lots of 4. Pull this whole freaking thing apart just to plug it back in. I'm gonna freaking have to, aren't I? There we go. While we're up there, we'll make sure that is bolted in. Fucking hell. The power cable pretty much holds the fan in place. Bloody hell. What you think is going to be a simple job ends up taking a lot longer. Okay. How's that all looking? Alrighty, so I got this dead graphics card here, and I'm going to use this to verify that our cable that we've plugged in, the extra cable, doesn't make graphics cards catch on fire. So, and so yeah, there's good reason to do this. I've looked at the pin configuration, and to my eye, it looks like we have a compatible cable. However, we will know for sure that's on. That's on. What are we missing? Put our motherboard. Yeah, that's plugged in. Yep. Well, that's strange. Okay, interesting. But, hang on. Is it like I said, we will definitely need this auxiliary PCIe. Yeah, we will, guaranteed. Alright, let's go back and make sure that this card doesn't melt. Alright, now we're plugged in. No. Okay. That's strange. Okay. and nothing. That's pretty weird, because even without a graphics card plugged into it, we should actually have it turn on when I press on the power pins. Oh, and it's no fucking worries. Temperamental fucking thing. Okay. So no smoke. That's always a good thing. Okay. Alright, we can move forward now. Okay. Alright, sorry about all that sidetrack nonsense there, but had to be done. I can't just go sticking whatever fucking power cables in whatever fucking power supply, and we can't just assume that, oh, it's the same brand, so it's all good, isn't it? Like, we can't assume any of that shit. But yes, now we can we'll probably just plug the same two cables back into our 2080 Ti, and our additional PCIe cable we will route to the motherboard there. Can't quite see the name from the screen. Good to have you with us. Fixing up this old PC. Well, not really old PC, just had a bit of a dunger motherboard in it. And it's got a 2080 Ti, so you can't do like super cheap motherboards with super high-end CPUs and graphics cards. Like, you don't have to get the most high-end motherboard in the world or anything like that. But you got to get like a mid-rangey one, you know what I mean? You got to get one that's got like good heat sinks on it and stuff like that. Because as soon as you plug in something high-powered, right, it puts heaps and heaps and heaps of strain on the motherboard as well. Because you can't have a high-powered card without high power running through the motherboard as well. So sometimes people forget that. And like, you know, you should always, you know, usually, if people are looking at like $1,000 motherboards, the advice is spend less on your motherboard, more on your graphics card. You get more performance that way. But there is a point where you don't worry. You don't even look at those ones. It's like people come to me and they're like, oh, what's the cheapest PC you can build for me? I'm like, bro, you don't want the cheapest PC I can build for you, man. Like, honestly, like, when you go buy a car, do you go buy the cheapest fucking car you can buy? Do you go, like, find something for $200 and go, oh, yes, sweet, I only paid $200 for it. Bargain. Or do you, like, go, no, fuck that. I'm spending, like, minimum $5,000 on a car. I'm gonna find something decent for that $5,000. That's what you do, right? You don't fuck around with really bad bottom of the market things. And no, that was all of them. Sweet as. Alright, so we've got some front panel connectors. Okay, that's all plugged in at the bottom there. Okay, that's looking pretty good around there. Just got let's change the side cable. So I'm changing the SATA cable to a straight one, and that's just so I can plug in just like that, nice and neat. USB 3. Put that in around there. Alrighty, graphics card time. I'll also remove this bit of sticky there. Oh, we've got some different panels here. So we need to take the panel off there, and I've got a spare panel just floating around on my desk. Seriously? My box full is downstairs. This'll do. It got just slightly bent, but there's nothing that I can't fix. Alright, get these couple of screws in here for our 2080 Ti. Okay. Okay. So we are looking pretty good. Alrighty, I'll share the screen with everyone. Oh, going to move me completely out of the way there. Alrighty. Looks like I wasn't quick enough for it. Okay, so we'll activate XMP profile 1, and everything else should be all sweet. So yes, we've got a much nicer motherboard here now. So if you're wondering why it's been part loading Windows and restarting, Windows is installing new drivers for the motherboard from a compatibility standpoint. So that was what we were seeing there, was all completely normal. Okay, so now we want to be seeing some better numbers here as we look at our device. Okay. So it's running faster and cooler just on the CPU, just from being in that different motherboard. And if we were to go and start to stress the system, let's do that, plus let's run Heaven Benchmark. And so last time with my temp gun, I was getting temperatures about 79 degrees on the MOSFET VRM coprocessors. Now, I don't even think I'm going to be able to properly aim at those components here, but I'm just getting a whole heap of 28 degrees here so far. Granted, the board hasn't heated up, but it's not going to go anywhere near those sort of temperatures. It'll run the CPU faster, harder, and it won't get as hot. A couple of things back here. got a good motherboard, I'm going to hook up the addressable RGB. There we go. Alright, so our fans, the RGB is now controlled by the motherboard. There's everything looking in there. Graphics card, all good. Memory, all good. Yeah, look, I'm not seeing any of the same problems and behaviors and stuff like that that I was seeing with that. 100% that was the problem with this PC. It was just that crappy motherboard, basically. Sweet as. Well, I think that I might actually leave the stream here because, I mean, at this stage, everything's all good and it's ready to go back to the customer. So we're not seeing any sort of problematic temperatures on the CPU anymore. So essentially, the problem from before is just not occurring anymore. And it's a little bit better. We've got a board that's compatible with Intel 11th gen, so customer can upgrade to an 11th gen CPU if he wants. Obviously a much better motherboard. A motherboard where we can use use our RAM at its full speed, so that's good as well. And then obviously also the addressable RGB. We've got an addressable RGB header, so we can control the lighting of our RGB fans now with software on the motherboard, so that will make our life a little bit easier as well. But yes, all in all, this is all ready to go. So I've got a live build on tonight. So what's the time now? 5 o'clock. I'll probably be starting that around 6:30. So if you're keen to watch that one, that's a it's a Antec D700 Flux with a 6600 XT and a Ryzen 5700G and 32 gigs of RAM and It's got it all in the right places. So yeah, check that out coming up around 6:30. So thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.